both of them was gone. And I was sitting there and I was like thinking, you're both passed, right? And Papa was looking at me doing this, like winking at me, because he's been over longer. And I knew that he had pulled me to that table so I could tell Mama she'd passed, because she didn't believe it. And I was like, Mama, you remember you dying? And she went, what? And I remember looking over at Papa and he was like winking at me. I was like, yeah, don't you remember when we went to your funeral back in April? And all night long I was trying to convince her and she was like laughing like I was crazy. So I know that the Spirit brought me into that dream, made it lucid. I mean, that was really happening, where Papa brought me there so I could help Mama realize she's gone.
That's insane.
And I did not see her for years. And I think because she's never, well, it took her a long time. I think it was about 12 years after she passed before I seen her. Where Papa was right away.
Really?
You know, so.
I wonder why, like, I don't dream of, like, more of my family members that have passed that I was really close with. I mean, I
Sorry,
wonder.
it's a fly.
We tried. We couldn't get it. You know, I wonder, like, why is that?
Well, I think sometimes we're too emotional about it, depending on who they are. If we, especially if somebody's grieving, it will be hard for them to see somebody right away, only because their emotion is a lot of energy. Imagine that if you could see it in the realm. It's kind of almost pushing them back. Not that they can't be there, but I have all this energy in it about maybe what you might say or how you might look or, you know, and I know you're not afraid of that, and I know you would love to see your family and all that stuff, but maybe it's more about what they have to say. You might not be ready for.
You think?
Well, I mean, I don't know your family. I don't even know the issues, but maybe there's some heavy things they want to say.
I guess I wonder too, like, is there sometimes when they just don't want to see us?
Oh, well, yeah, well.
Like, rip the Band-Aid off.
True. Well, I'm going to tell you this, back to my grandma. I got to thinking, like, I wonder why she's not showing up. They have told me before that people, they go, my grandma was extremely religious. And her whole life she spent thinking, I'm going to go be with Jesus and I'm going to praise God and sing in a choir and play banjo on a rock or whatever. So in her mind, that's where she's at. And I have to be comfortable with that. So sometimes they have a strong belief, like they don't communicate with here. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're not around, because like I said, heaven's like the air. It's just that they're consciously not willing to even see us really in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same way with what I do. I have seen people too be forced to go to school for a while. When my mom's husband died, I seen him turn into a little kid and he had a backpack on. And I knew they were taking him to school.
What?
Yeah. So sometimes people go to school to change. Maybe their belief is hardcore, a particular area, that they almost turn kid-like, and then they go to school to be re-taught their thinking. It's crazy. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I have seen people like it. I've heard the Spirit say, they're in school.
Wow.
And then I've had them also too, like, well, don't worry about them because they're with the angels playing a banjo on a rock and praising Jesus.
So this whole dream thing, I mean, for the people out there that are not psychic and they're just watching us for shits and grins here, so is there a way that you can go to sleep and, like, you know, ask to dream a certain thing? I mean, how does that happen?
There's books on it.
There is? I'm totally out of the loop here. So what are these? What are these books?
Well,
Tell me about
you know
them.
I haven't read a book.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
Years.
Yeah, we're all ADHD. Did you forget?
I know.
haven't
That's
read
the thing.
books either.
I need the clip notes. Clip notes, please. Okay, so what's the deal with that?
Well, I do know that if you sit down with a book like this, you put it by your bed. This is what I tell people: put it by your bed on the nightstand, because we all do dream, and we all do remember when we're very first waking up. It's vivid. The thing is, if I convince myself I'm going to be able to get up and walk around and come back and write it down, no, you'll lose it. Or at least you'll lose half of it. The thing is, I was always told, just as you're waking up, kind of take that pen and write it down, the gist. The thing is, before you go to bed, too, here's what you tell the spirit realm. You say, talk to me in my dreams. Start telling me that you're there, and tell me about my everyday life. What should I do for my work? Tell me about my love life. And I know you love me. I mean, love connects us to the realm of spirit. So I know you love me. I know you're trying to help me. So, of course, I believe you'll talk to me in my dreams. I'm listening. I'm putting this paper here, and I'm going to start writing it down. And I know you'll show up. And thank you already for whatever messages you give me. And I'm telling you, bring your attention to that. You will start dreaming, and you'll start getting messages.
Really? Okay, I'm starting that tonight.
You will. You just set
I'll
up
get
that
back to you and
agenda.
tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I always tell people, text me your dreams, because I love dreams.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was going through, this was my favorite one. Depending on where you're at, when you're not lucid and you're just dreaming, if you're on ground floor, that's the spirit talking to you about your present wake state. That's why we always have these dreams. Then I'm on the main floor of the house and people are breaking in my windows and I'm trying to dial 911 and I can't get the number right, or somebody's trying to break in the back door, or we're driving in a car, that's also ground level, and my cousin's driving and I'm screaming at her to slow down. The windows thing, somebody trying to break in, me dial 911, that's me feeling out of control in my awake state, trying to get help and I can't get help. And I feel scared about my life in the present. If I'm in a car and I'm going down the road and my cousin's driving and I'm screaming at her to slow down, well, how out of control my present awake state do I feel that my cousin's in control? That's pretty out of control. So it comes out like that. So we need to be very aware where we're at in the dream, because that tells us a lot. Like if you're in a kitchen, which normally is ground floor, and I'm looking through cupboards and I got 15 people getting ready to show up and I'm freaking out in my mind going, oh my God, I have no food to feed them and no pop in the refrigerator or whatever, and I'm freaking out in my mind, I don't have food. Well, what's that telling me about me? Because if you're lucid, that's about the spirit realm. If you're not lucid, that's about spirit helping you about you and your life, you as a spirit. So if I'm in the kitchen and I can't get anything out of the cupboards, what do you think that's telling me?
You need to get more organized, get your shit together.
Yeah, Brenda.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But to me, that would be the spirit's concerned about my growth. So I'm not getting fed spiritually, because that's what we do in the kitchen.
I would
Right.
have never put that together.
Could we
Yeah, because what do we do in the kitchen? We eat. We get nourishment.
Oh, yeah, I would have never got that.
So how in the heck am I going to think I'm going to be spiritually feeding to someone else in my, say, in my everyday life if I can't even have food in my own kitchen?
Yeah. See, now I would see this, that would be a dream that I would again misread, because I would be like, that is about me. I've been discombobulated. I need to like pull it back together and get organized and get on with your life.
But do you think that if spirit was trying to help you in a dream, it probably wouldn't display that to you, because that's how you would interpret it?
Yeah.
It would probably be a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you guys ever have dreams about things that are